Okay, so it's a beautiful day. It's a good day to get some firewood. So we're out here, actually at my parents' house, going to cut down some ash trees. They've had quite a few of them topped out because they're all dead. All the ash is dying around here. So we're going to take them the rest of the way down, cut them up and split them. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a quick video on some basic falling, whatever you want to call it. Actually bringing them down, the basic cuts to do that, how to do it safely. So that's what we'll do today. We'll start with this big one here. This is actually going to be a little more dangerous of a cut. It's dead, but it's also somewhat hollowed out in the middle. So there's only one side that we might be able to get a good hinge on. So we'll see, you'll see how that works out and kind of show you what it's like to cut a dangerous tree down. It's only 10 feet tall or so. Not as dangerous as it could be since it's already topped out, but still, there's still that question of which way it's actually going to go, if it's going to go the way you want it to or not. We'll show you how to kind of mitigate the risk as best as we can and see what happens. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we're cleared out around the tree. We don't want any obstacles. It's going to be easier if there's nothing in the way. It's a lot safer that way. So we're going to cut this sapling out of here before we even start cutting anything on the tree itself. So we'll get this out of the way real quick here. Now we've got some room to work. Now, since the hollowed out side is on the other side, we're going to try to make the hinge cut over here. Make the wedge cut so we can set the hinge up over here. I'm going to leave it up a little bit just so it's comfortable to actually cut. That way we're not hunched over. We can cut the stump off later. So we'll work up here a little ways, but we're going to go in first at an angle downward. Different guys do it at different angles. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm sure there's a specific angle you're actually supposed to use when felling, but I'm going to bring it down at a fairly steep angle, and then we'll come back in with an undercut to meet up with that wedge and get it out of there. Hopefully we don't run into the hollow part while we're doing the wedge cut here, or it could end up being a little more dangerous. So let's start by getting this wedge cut started and see what we run into. Now we've actually run into, I could feel it hit the hollow out section there. I could feel it hit where it's hollowed out in there. As I was going, suddenly there's no resistance, so I'm not sure if we're going to end up with much of a hinge or not, but we'll keep going and see where it gets us. And now that we've got the angled cut in, we're going to come back and find the bottom of the angled cut and follow it around. We're going to try to get an undercut here to get the rest of that wedge out. I know it's hollow inside just part way through, so it's not going to be a good one, but be as safe as we can be, I guess. Well, that is not very promising. So we're not quite halfway through, and we're starting to hit the hollowed out portion in here. So it's not going to be great. But it is a good demonstration of the more dangerous trees to bring down. Now, should still be able to get it to come this way like we want to. As we start on either side on the back, because it's hollow in the middle, start cutting one side in a little ways, put a wedge in, start the other side, and we'll see if we can push it over this way. So the goal here is going to be to come in from the back side, just maybe an inch or so above where we've cut here, to try to get it to actually tip this direction, to help it go this direction. We're going to leave about a 1-inch square section here. That's going to be the hinge that we're not going to touch with the saw. I doubt that we're actually going to even get that far, because there's only a little bit of wood on either side actually holding this whole thing, because it's hollowed out in the middle. So we're just going to work in, like I said, about an inch above our undercut here from the back, putting a wedge in either side as we go, and see if we can get it to come where we want it. Okay, so I'm going to keep the camera back a little ways, hopefully a safe distance while I do this, just because this is a little bit of an unpredictable one. But wedges are going to be your best friend when you're bringing a tree down. If it's a real small tree, you're not going to need to really worry about it, but anything big enough that you can get your bar buried all the way in before it starts to go, you're going to want some wedges. So ignore the airplane. So as we go, I'm going to start out with the shorter wedges, pound them in on either side to just get it some pressure going that direction, and hopefully even though it's hollowed out, I think we've got enough hinge there on either side. Plus it's fairly straight, so we shouldn't have any trouble getting it to go the direction we want. But you'll see, I'm not going to talk, I'm going to have the chainsaw running, but you'll see me hit the wedges in on either side as I go behind the chainsaw bar to just keep the pressure, constant pressure on it, go in the direction you want. wasn't too bad. Okay, so hopefully you're able to see there how much the wedges actually help in getting it to go the way you want it to. You can see there was almost no hinge there. A piece of it, I don't know if it was a bad cut on my part or if it was just that weak, but we only really ended up with a hinge over here and some tear off over here. So you can see that it was standing basically straight up, cut most of the way through. Barely any hinge there, just holding it straight up because it was standing straight. So we needed those wedges to get in there and really push it and get it to actually come over where we wanted it. So I would say anything bigger than maybe 6 inches in diameter, you're going to want wedges. If you can get the bar into the tree as you're making your back cut and there's enough room to get a wedge in there, get a wedge in it. I mean, it's at least insurance that you're holding a constant pressure the other direction so that you don't run as much risk of it coming back towards you. And that's what these plastic wedges are made for. They've got little teeth on them that keep them from pulling back out once they're hammered in. And they're made of a soft plastic so that if you do get into them with your chain, you're going to tear the wedge up instead of ruining your chain. So it won't dull your chain up. I mean, it might dull it a little bit, but it's not going to hurt your chain. It's going to tear the wedge up. And you can see I've gotten into these a little bit already just from normal felling. So hopefully you learned something on that. Did some basic felling cut with a somewhat dangerous piece of tree here. If you learned something, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more chainsaw videos, more videos like this. I appreciate you watching. And if you could give it that thumbs up, that really does help the channel to grow. It helps the videos get suggested, get more eyes on them, as well as subscribing. That really helps me out. And I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.